Hi, glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity to chat with you. My name is Ham Ssenoga. I am from Uganda. I am a PhD student um, at Makerere University. Currently, I'm nearing completion. Yeah, I'm nearing completion of my PhD. And by nearing completion, I really mean that I'm done with much of the writing and yeah, still a bit of writing to do, but at least the solid structure of the dissertation it's present and yeah, based off the feedback that I've been getting for a number of the chapters, it's solid. An MPhil, that's a master's in philosophy. Yeah, I did it from Makerere University. And one, first even explain that because I think that in itself provides context. When I did my undergrad, it was in ethics and human rights. So I love the course, I really did. And it sparked into me the idea of wanting to try something a bit more. Unfortunately, I'd done well in my undergrad. I wanted to do an MBA. Actually, I was not really wanted, but I was being forced to do an MBA. Yeah, because one of my uncles, he had done an MBA, and it had yielded a lot of benefits for him in terms of opportunities, work, finances. So he could only advise me from something that he has experienced. But personally, I didn't feel like an MBA is something I wanted to do. Yeah, because I wasn't good at maths. And the fact that I knew some of the courses involved statistics and all that, so I wanted something that resonates with me. So I picked a lot of interest in philosophy. My undergraduate, at least the ethics part, is largely philosophy. So it sparked a lot of curiosity in me. So that's why I wanted to go and do a master in philosophy. But even if it wasn't at Makerere University, I was going to still study philosophy somewhere else because I thought that is what captures my interest. So that's the first thing, that anything that one would love to study, even if it's undergrad, yeah, even if it's a diploma or certificate, or even something fairly more advanced like masters, would highly advise that it has to be something you're interested in, because then it eases on the burden that comes with it. So that's the first thing. The structure of the course was 3 years, because I think ordinarily master's courses tend to be 3 years. Yeah, but mine is tied to a PhD program. But it's a master's leading to a PhD. So it is a master's 3 years and the PhD 2 years. This is at the Makerere Institute of Social Research. Doing a master's generally really changes how you see life generally. You gain more perspective. Other than, because of course some of the most obvious gains are career development. That they'll do maybe an MBA. An MBA is a very good example. That's because it's very popular. That's one will do an MBA because they want to get a job promotion. There's certainly those benefits, because I personally believe that the higher you study, the more financial attraction that you get. So other than that, yeah, that okay. If I'm to even put it more simple, it helps you mature. It really does help you mature. You gain more perspective in terms of how you analyze, in terms of reading. Actually reading mainly, because most people, even I write, but the masters will push you to read much more than you ordinarily read, because once you read more, you understand how different people see the world, and due to that, you are put in a better position to analyze something, because then you can see where your input comes in. Yeah, because you can't contribute to a topic or knowledge that you have no background on. Yeah, so I think that is one of the best things that a master's gives you. Reading is a very, very hard skill. Yeah, it's not that one thing that you just perfect to go. I will personally say that if there's one thing I learned from my master's, yeah, that has helped me carry on to PhD and even make the journey much more easier, is learning how to read. It's not an easy skill. It's extremely hard. And I'll give an example. All right. What do I mean by learning how to read? I used to read a lot at my undergrad, even before undergrad. Reading a lot meaning I used to do casual reading of novels, especially novels. I used to read a lot of those because at least I had a literary background. But switching my attention from novels to scholarly works, so it sparked my interest into other things, which I regarded as boring. So as I started reading different kind of books, especially on things that you're interested in, you get better perspective. So I did that all through my undergrad. So I knew that I know how to read. Fast forward, I entered graduate school, and the very first week was entitled How to Read. So it didn't make sense to me then. That very idea, the subject of week 1, it made sense to me when I was in my 4th year. It made sense when I was in my 4th year. That I didn't even bother asking myself, what does it really mean by how to read? But I understood that throughout my 3 years of my master's, that it always kept telling us, because the problem that I and many of my colleagues had, you're trained to read fast, really fast, that you just get a text and you just want to fly through it. What is he saying? He's talking about identity. What is he saying? He's talking about nationalism. Who is the author? The author is Ham. What year is the publication? 2020. Okay. But you don't really have full grasp of the text. And full grasp really meaning that not only knowing what the person is talking about, but putting that text in dialogue with other texts. Because any text, anything that someone writes or talks about, it's not born out of the blue. It is speaking to a certain tradition. It's coming from a certain vantage point. Now, putting that context to that book, and then you see where you come in and you start seeing gaps in what Ham says, what Ham leaves out, why he leaves it out, and what Lerato is saying, and what she is making a contribution to. Now you start seeing those bits and pieces when you do something that my professor always called close reading. And it's a skill that is highly, highly beneficial. And it's something that you learn over time. Like you read a text slowly to understand what the text is saying and putting it into context. So I would say that that's one thing that I've really learned from my master's. In terms of challenges, the major challenge that comes with it is how to do a lot of work perfectly in a short time. And by perfectly, I will put that in quotes, because it's difficult to do something thoroughly perfect. But to do something to the best of your ability, and by best of your ability, I mean best of your ability, in a short amount of time. I'm saying close reading, it's like you have a year to read the text. No. You have a week to read the text. And in that week, you have 3 books to read in that week. Yeah, which you have to closely read, as I'm saying, and get all those perspectives. Yeah, so it's not something easy. But that's the skill that you learn in the masters, that you have that amount of short time and you can read something so well and understand it. Yeah. So that's really the difficulty of it. Yeah. And then the ability to write. But also what I would advise is, writing becomes easy if you learn how to read. It gets easier if you learn how to read, because you can't write what you haven't understood. Yeah, you can't write what you've crammed, because if you've crammed, you won't have perspective. Yeah, you won't see gaps in what someone else is saying, or even in what you are saying, because you haven't understood. But you can only write better when you've learned how to read. And learning how to read takes a bit of time. Yeah. So I'll say that for now.
No, thank you so much, Ham. This was very helpful, and I think it is a key takeaway to learn to read. Yeah, it is a skill. And I think most of us going into our degrees, we just assume it's reading.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's more to it, just picking up a text and scanning through it.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much. I'm sure the scholars will appreciate this. And yeah, thank you, Ham.